All right, we good to go, Joey? All set. Got Josh Grosz here inside the Pirate Radio studios as East Carolina pitcher, now becomes a New York Yankee like George Costanza and all the other greats. And we are running this right now on Facebook and YouTube. We'll air it on Pirate Radio Live at a later date, but wanted to go ahead and talk to the former Pirate pitcher before he gets out of town and heads down to Florida. So, Josh, congrats, man. That's really cool to hear. Your name taken yesterday and then see New York Yankees beside it. How's that feel?
Yeah, no, thank you. It's pretty incredible. I think it's still kind of settling in with me. I think yesterday I was kind of in shock the whole day, but it feels pretty good to have that title, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Josh, let's talk about the draft and the process and all that stuff. So, and when I actually heard a promo recently, last time you were on, you were saying, maybe I'm not a first round, a second round, a first day guy, but you said, you thought you had a good chance of hearing your name called. So what was the first day, second day like for you as you kind of sit and wait?
The first day was pretty cool. I was going to go home just to hang out with my parents just because I was curious to see who was going to go in the first two rounds because you kind of have an idea of like the top stars in the game. But right when I pulled out of Greenville, it started like typhooning. So I immediately turned around and just stayed back, and me, my girlfriend, and Cooch Manor and Trevor Lucido were just hanging out watching the first two rounds. And then that next morning, Monday morning, I got up early and drove home. The draft didn't start till 2, so Cooch actually came back up with me because he wanted to be a part of that, which I thought was pretty cool. But so we drove up there and kind of just hung out all day. I had a general idea of when I thought I would have been called if I did get called on Monday, and so kind of just in communication back and forth with my agent and kind of just seeing like what the word on his end was, and kind of it's a little nerve-wracking a little bit because you don't want to stare at the computer screen all day because you're going to go insane, but right. You also don't want to, you want to make sure your phone is on and you want to miss a call in case it's there. So there were some chances to go later that day, like round 7 through 10, and it just didn't work out with the guy. Like there was 2 teams where they called my agent. It was like, hey, if this guy ahead of Josh is off the board, is not available, we're gonna go with Josh here, and it just didn't work out. The guy they wanted ahead of me was still available, so they went with him. That happened a few times, but so day 3, going into day 3 was a little. It's like, well, there's only one more day left. Like, I really hope this happens. And about half an hour before day 3 started, so probably like at 1:30, my agent gave me a call and said that the Yankees were super high on me, and if I was still on the board, they were going to take me with their 11th round pick. And so they had like one of the last picks that round. So that whole round was just like a little, just kind of anxious to see what happens. But their pick came up, and they were good on their word, and probably one of the coolest moments I've ever been a part of. How
about pre-draft, Josh, and you went out to a combine of sorts, or where they were able to scout you, look at you, work out, things like that. So did you have interaction with teams when you were out there or leading up to the draft at all?
Yeah, so when I was in Arizona, I only talked to a big part of why I wanted to go out there was to go do a bunch of interviews because they were having big time interviews with maybe a GM or a national scout director, like whatever it was. I only had one meeting. It was with the Cardinals, and I thought it was a great meeting. And so I left there after doing a bunch of medical testing and just some physical makeup evaluations, and left there. I was glad I went. It was a cool event to be a part of. But leading up to the draft, probably talked to 15, almost 20 teams maybe that reached out and just checking in to see how I was feeling, like if everything's still good to go, and they all told me that I was on their board, and so I was super excited about that. And then so just that kind of gave me a good intention too, just or a good idea of when I would possibly go, and so that's why the later rounds on Monday were just very kind of scratching an itch, trying to just get that thing kind of, I guess, over with because you're so anxious to see what happens.
Yeah.
Definitely, like you said, a roller coaster of emotions throughout the whole thing.
Did you get any weird questions outside of baseball? Did they ask you like the dumb stuff we would ask you on the show? Like, are you a dog or a cat? Did you get any of that psychological stuff?
No, I don't think they were too worried about, my animal preferences. But,
Good. I hear those stories with the NFL Combine all the time, and I'm just curious if you ran across.
A lot of the questions they asked that were not like, outside the baseball world were about like your family life. Like, almost everybody asks, do you have a sibling or immediate relative that plays in the professional sport? I think they like that kind of bloodline thing, like if you got the genes or whatever. But almost everyone I talked to was like very, very intrigued with me being a military kid. I talked most of my meetings I had with teams, even in the fall, and even talking on the phone with scouts before the draft, was very interested in like, how was that growing up? Like, what's that like? And so I think that might have played maybe a big part in what happened, but maybe not. I don't know. But that was a big focal point for a lot of guys.
Well, if anything, they know you'll be comfortable with the lifestyle of a minor league baseball player before you get to the pros, and even a pro player where you're on the road so much. I'm still fascinated by when you told us that the most time you've spent anywhere, like your entire life, was here in Greenville, right? You went around so much. So, and baseball injuries are so tricky, and health, because you're pitching in season, but even you guys are playing summer ball and fall ball, and almost never stops, right? So how about your arm right now and how you're feeling at this juncture?
I feel great. I took about a week off whenever we lost to UVA, and after that week just started playing, not like super crazy bullpens or anything. I was playing light catch 3 days a week, lifting with our strength coach 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and just trying to stay in shape and make sure my arm feels good, and my arm feels great. So I'm looking forward to getting down to Florida. I don't know what we're going to do down there. They're probably going to do a bunch of assessments, kind of like the Combine, and come up with a plan on how to go forward. Yeah,
so that's the next move for you, heading to Tampa, you said?
Yeah, so I'm flying out of here tomorrow morning out of Raleigh to Tampa. And then that will I'll be in Tampa until the end of the minor league season, which is like the second week of September, I think.
And one Josh is not enough. Another Josh heading there. Talked to Josh Moylan last night, and said that once things are finalized, he plans on being a Yankee as well. And you still have to do the physical and that stuff, right? Before you actually sign the dotted line.
You can't really say that you signed until you've passed your physical and all that stuff. So, I'm confident that'll all go fine. But I was really pumped, and when I heard Josh was going to be there, it felt like, I lived with him for 2 years, so it kind of felt like a piece of ECU was coming with me. And
awesome.
So I'm really excited for us to go through this whole thing together down there.
Josh Grosz joining us. We'll be on a few more minutes. If you have a question on Facebook or YouTube, you can get that in as we talk to the now former Pirate joining us. And Josh, we talked to you before this process, and your dream, your goal is to play professional baseball. You also said you wouldn't be upset if the worst thing that happened to you was having to return to ECU. But you got that call. You were selected in the draft, and again, you said it's I don't know when does it all actually set in, but you're kind of going through that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely bittersweet. I mean, I've expressed many times I love this place with all I got. ECU is, like I said, a second home, and Pirate Nation has been like a second family to me and my family, and it's definitely not easy to leave, and making that decision to forgo my last year was definitely hard, but like you said, it was a dream I've had since a kid, and I know that Pirate Nation will always be there wherever I go.
Josh, players get drafted on what they've done, but also potential and what teams see in you. So, and you'll talk to whoever you talk to down there in Florida. But how about you personally? Like, what do you want to improve upon? What do you want to show the Yankees organization once you get down to Tampa?
I think just for me and my situation, the Yankees saw me as a draft pick that had the potential to be someone a lot better than I am right now. And so, I think that I'm just as excited as they are to get in their labs and in their pitch and development program and continue to add weight, continue to add consistency in my arm action, my delivery, my thought processes, my stuff. And I think that they see it just as I do, is that the ceiling really is unlimited because I'm there's so much stuff that I can still work on.
Joey, you got a question for Josh? Hit your mic on. I didn't show you how to do that, did I? hit the pot beside the one on the far left and turn that baby up. No, the bottom red button. Hit that baby. Yep, turn it up and talk. Now you got it.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's up, Josh? So, as you know, you weren't the only Pirate drafted tonight. Have you talked to Tyler a little bit, and have you gotten his head about it? Because, you know, both pitchers going to different places.
Yeah. So I called him about an hour and a half ago on my drive back down to Greenville, and he's super excited, too. He deserves this 100%. He's he had, just like everyone has, some struggles throughout the year, but I think the Cardinals see in him what he sees in himself and what everyone else sees in the program is a guy with a great arm and great stuff, and kind of in the same boat I am, where when you finally put the tools all together, it's the sky's the limit. So he's excited, he's pumped up, he's flying out I think tomorrow as well. They're in Jupiter. That's where the Cardinals have their stuff at. So hopefully we get to play each other. Maybe next year. I don't know. Like I said, what this fall looks like, but I'm sure we'll cross paths several times in the near future.
Have you had a chance to talk either on the lead up or the last couple of days to maybe Zach Agnew, CJ Mayhew, guys that have been through what you're about to go through, and see what they say?
Yeah, I haven't talked on the phone with those guys yet, but they all reached out whenever they saw my name got called, and I've kept a pretty good connection with almost everyone that's come through here, and so. All my former teammates and people at the next level that I played with, they're super excited, and they've already reached out. So I'm definitely looking forward to picking their brain and seeing what worked for them and using it for myself.
We had Cornell Powell in studio yesterday. J.H. Rose star, went to Clemson, Kansas City Chiefs, won a Super Bowl, and talked to him about being starstruck. And Cornell was a big time player around here. Clemson's about as high as you can go in college football, but he said when he got to Kansas City and saw Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, he had that starstruck feeling. Jamie asking, what player do you want to try to meet on the Yankees the most, or in MLB? And we'll ask you later about those starstruck feelings, but I don't know, anybody come to mind who you'd like to meet, cross paths with?
When I think of Yankees pitching right now, everyone thinks about Garrett Cole, so I'm sure that would be, if I ever got the chance to meet him, that'd probably be a pretty cool moment to, like I said, pick his brain too and just have a conversation with him. So that's probably the guy that I'm most excited to see in person. Also,
Jamie asking, have you had a chat with Coach Godwin since being drafted, and what was that like?
Yeah, Coach Godwin called me after I didn't get selected on day 2, just trying to be there and calm down the emotions a little bit. But then immediately after I got selected yesterday, he was the first person to call and congratulate me and kind of give me that rundown. But I talked to him several times. I was planning on going there to the field after this is over and kind of packing up my stuff out of my locker and saying one last thank you and bye to the coaches and my teammates, and then getting ready to leave.
Yeah, good stuff. Josh Grosz joining us. Both you and Josh Moylan, it made it sound like you guys were excited and maybe ready to take that next step. Mm-hmm. The tricky part is, and we talked about this with Moylan and with Coach Godwin, the way the draft is, and you have to assign scholarships. I believe July 1st is what Coach Godwin said. So from you have your point of view on what you want to do. Coach Godwin also has to kind of think about it in his brain, how it's all going to work out. So did you feel like, did he kind of know that you were ready to move on and probably were going to make that move?
Yeah, we've had many talks leading up to this, and he's in a tough spot as a coach because he assigned scholarships, and because the draft got pushed back, it's hard to do that when you don't really have a full idea of who's coming back. But he told me from the jump, he assigned me a scholarship, so if things didn't work out or it wasn't the right fit, whatever it was, that I always had a spot to come back and honor that scholarship. But I don't know how he can rearrange money, if he's even allowed to do that or not. Hopefully he can, because I'm sure Josh was on some money. I'm sure Brott was on something. So that's got to be tough for him to find a way to give everyone some money in the little amount of money that we get for baseball anyway.
Speaking of money, you're not a multi-millionaire at the moment, Josh, no, but how about the financial part of it? Are you pleased with how that worked out?
Yeah, I'm happy. Honestly, I'm more happy about the opportunity. So money's great, and it's definitely a good cushion, but at the end of the day, they care about production, not how much they paid you. So my thought process right now is just to get down there and see how much better I can get in a short amount of time.
I know you've mentioned your family. I know they're thrilled. What was their reaction like when you got selected?
They were very happy. They were sitting on the couch with me, and they had the live stream pulled up, and then on your phone you could look at the number orders of what's going on.
Yeah,
they were through the roof. I mean, my parents, they've been able to support me through this whole journey from T-ball to now, and I think they were just as excited as I was. And I texted them earlier. I was like, "This is just as much as your draft as it is mine, because I wouldn't be there without you guys." And so, even my little sister, she was super excited. She's been to God knows how many baseball games that she probably didn't want to go to. My brother texted me right away, and he was through the roof. But I got a great family, and I love those guys.
And man, Major League Baseball, the ultimate. It's great to be drafted by any team, and I am by far not a Yankees fan, but I can recognize that Yankees is baseball. Baseball is Yankees. I mean, that's the most traditional franchise in the game of baseball. Any added, special feeling to that, being drafted by that organization?
It's definitely probably one of the most worldwide known baseball organizations, if not the most. So I don't feel like an extra weight on my shoulders or anything, but I think it's a very cool thing to kind of grasp, and to say that you were drafted by the New York Yankees is a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I got some pictures of me in a T-ball jersey playing for the Yankees that will pull up. But
have you taught anybody from there, like other than your agent? Have you taught anybody from the Yankees organization?
Yeah, the guy, the area scout, his name's Stu Smothers. He actually lives pretty much on the street where I used to live in Virginia.
Wow.
In Nova by DC, which is kind of cool. But he called me right after I got selected, and he was super excited. And so he's been in contact with like me and Moylan and some other guys about travel plans and what kind of to expect and to bring and all that stuff. So
Jamie asking, was Josh a fan of the Yankees, or did you become a fan yesterday?
I've never really had a favorite team. I've never like disliked the Yankees. I'm super excited that I get to be a part of this. So I've always admired. They have some of the best players in the world. So even if you don't like them, I don't know how you can't admire them. But I've never been like a diehard fan. But I am now. So
yeah, and you feel like you look pretty good in pinstripes. You guys used to wear those.
I think I look good in the ECU pinstripes.
You realize now, if you make it to the big show, you're gonna have to get rid of the facial hair.
I gotta get rid of that. I think tonight. I don't think anyone's allowed to have
something
it.
Through all the affiliates.
I could be wrong, but I don't want to be that guy that shows up like and everyone else is standing like an idiot. So I was planning on just straight razoring it off tonight.
Good point, Joey. That's right.
Take some years off my life.
There you go. The clean baby face Josh Grosz coming to Tampa.
Freshman Josh.
To a field near you. Good stuff. All right, couple more minutes left. You guys want to get something in? We're talking to Josh Grosz here live on Facebook and YouTube. We'll air this on our Pirate Radio live show coming up later in the week. But I don't know, Josh. First of all, I would like to say we really enjoyed having you on this year. I love your personality. And we talk baseball, but we also try to get people to know you as a person and have some fun with you. So, I think you were perfect for what we wanted to do here at Pirate Radio, mix the baseball with the real life aspect of it. So, awesome job by you there, just being yourself, really.
Yeah, no, I had a blast all year, and I'm pretty sure the other guys did too. So, I would do it again in a heartbeat. So, I had a really good time connecting with you all year.
And we had yourself, we had Josh Moylan, we had Lane Hoover, who was playing some pro baseball the last couple weeks.
The Yeehaws?
The Y'alls.
The Y'alls.
Yeah.
Y'alls.
How about that?
He's playing with Ben Terwilliger, too. They're on the same team.
Ben Terwilliger's on that team? I had no idea. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So great to see your former teammate there.
Yeah, that was he. When was this? Maybe 2 weeks ago. He came down. Him and Spivey and Coach and Saylor all had a nice dinner with Coach Godwin. He took him out to eat, and then he met up with me and Cooch Manor and Trevor at I think it was just me and Cooch Manor at Sup Dogs, and he broke the news, and he was like, "I'm leaving tomorrow morning to go to I think it was Ohio." I'm not sure where he said he was going.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's why I think they were playing a game there, and so Hoover is baseball. So I don't know what Hoover looks like not in a uniform. So I know he's super happy, and I think he's been playing pretty well. I'm trying to kept up with all the Twitter stuff. So
how about Garrett and Carter Spivey? You talked to those guys lately. What are they up to right now?
Yeah, I talk to those guys a lot. I don't know. I know that they're both. I'm hoping that they are able to work out a free agent deal today before 5 o'clock, and they both deserve it. I mean, Spivey is a one-of-a-kind guy that's walked through these doors. He's came in and struggled more than anyone I've ever played with, and flipped the switch and was one of the best pitchers I've played with. And so he definitely deserves a shot. And if it's not today, then I'm confident that he's driven enough where he's going to continue to pursue that. And Saylor's the same way. Saylor, his career here has been pretty spectacular. So if a team is able to score either one of those guys, they're getting a steal.
And I think we've beaten the sandwich thing to death at this point, but did have a question on YouTube. Did the sandwich ever come up in any of your interviews with teams?
No, but if you go on MLB, like the draft, like the top 230 prospects, 250 prospects, if you go under my name on there, they give like a brief like synopsis of your career, and like I want to say one of the first two lines is, Josh Grosz became famous for feeding a hot dog to his teammate. But
yeah,
if you go up a little bit,
if you look up your name on Twitter as well, one of the
if you
latest.
type in MLB draft prospects.
Okay.
2023.
Let's see. Let's just add prospects here.
There's a Yankees prospect Twitter.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Is it on there?
And they tweeted about you recently. Let me see what they said.
Oh yeah, click on that. It's in that.
All right. Let's see. We got Josh. Got a little. Looks like a video.
There should be like a little.
Yeah. So it says Yankees prospect watch. They said that you were selected, 342nd pick. He's most known for being ejected last season for feeding his teammate. They got it wrong, actually. Feeding his teammate a PB&J sandwich after a home run.
I mean, nobody can get the story straight.
The right answer.
Yeah, really. You got to go on New York radio and set the record straight. But yeah, do you want that wiped from your record, or are you okay with it?
I think it's
it adds a little.
It adds some character in there.
No doubt. All right.
Some extra adversity I had to go through.
That's right.
College career.
Ejected in a conference tournament. Josh, awesome stuff. We wish you the best of luck, man, and we know you're gonna succeed in baseball and in life, and we'll keep in touch. Let's catch up sometime whenever all this is over with, and we wish you the best of luck, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the whole season.
Absolutely. And we'll air this on our radio side. Folks, coming up later on today, 3 o'clock, Pirate Radio Live. It's the worst sports day of the year. No pro baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL, nothing. So we're going to be playing Survivor, Pirate Radio Survivor, coming up at 3 o'clock today. So stick around for that. We'll talk to you then. And we'll see you then. Joey, great job. Thank you. And Josh, awesome work as always. We'll see you folks at 3.